It's late, I'm tired, but I should still film.
Hi everyone, so if you've been watching my videos, watch my other videos, I have recently got an iPad, and as you can tell by the title, I'm gonna tell you if it's worth it or not. I'm not telling you how to live your life, how to use your iPad, how to use your electronics, but this could come in handy because I thought it was handy when I saw these videos and I was like, oh, I should know that before getting this big purchase, you know? Just a little bit of background, I bought this about a month and a half ago, so a little bit near the Black Friday era when everything was on sale, but it wasn't on sale because it's iPad Air 4 and that just came out, and I was able to play around with all the features and play around with Procreate, which is really cool, and I'm excited to show you guys what I found out that was helpful, things that I liked or disliked about the iPad. At the end of this, I'll also put a little tour because I bought some accessories and I personalized my iPad, so it'll be super exciting to kind of go through what I did to make it my own and show you guys some tips that I learned. So continue watching to see my thoughts on this new iPad. Also, if you could tell, I have a new background. I lit a candle. You can't even see it in the... It smells good in here, so whatever. But to get this out of the way, here are a few things I considered before spending my hard-earned money on this thing. So there are two things I really considered. One of them is, what am I using this for? Would I be editing pictures? Would I be editing videos? Learning about digital art or graphic design? Would I be using this for work or school or any type of entertainment purposes? I kind of answered this in the last video where I was unboxing my iPad, but I'm using this more for entertainment purposes, to watch YouTube videos, to watch Netflix, to watch Disney Plus, to draw a little on the side. I wasn't using it anything for school, for note-taking, so that would actually make me consider buying it more because I heard the note-taking apps and things like GoodNote 5 and other, features are really good for note-taking, but I'm not in school right now, so no purpose for me to do that, especially if you're taking class at home. So that's definitely a consideration that I did not have to consider because I'm not in school. Since I was going to be using it for more leisure activities, things like drawing with Procreate or video editing was super easy to learn because everything was so intuitive. It was so like beginner level. It's not like any type of Adobe software or Photoshop. It was very easy to learn. And I'm not saying they are worse than those applications, they just are very user-friendly. I know I've tried video editing on Adobe before and it took me so long just to edit like 10 minutes just to get used to it. I've low-key been using iMovie. I know some people don't like it, but I know that there are other apps that are probably more helpful and probably things I should look into if I'm going to be making videos, editing pictures, whatever. But for me, Lightroom, iMovie, Procreate, those have all been very easy to use, so I really appreciate that beginner quality of iPad apps. Plus, there's like a plethora of YouTube videos showing you how to edit videos or pictures or pretty much anything. But a lot of tips and tricks I learned for using my iPad actually came from TikTok. Things from Procreate, little tips on layers and learning how to use different brushes and how people, all that stuff. TikTok. Oh, I need water. Okay. And the last half of learning on this device was basically just playing around with it. So that's what I've been doing for the past month and a half, Nothing super special, nothing super, high tech or fancy. If you're looking into doing things that are more advanced, I would recommend a computer or an actual PC that could probably handle more complicated softwares, but the iPad is good for me for what I'm doing right now, to watch Driver's License, stream Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo. Love you. The second thing I had to consider is actually what I considered with most of my purchases in quarantine was if I have time for this. And since we are in quarantine, you still better be staying home in quarantine. I've had an excessive amount of time to do these types of things. So if I was out of quarantine, would I have bought it? Probably not, but that's just me. Prior to quarantine, I was busy pretty much from like 7 a.m. to like 2 a.m. I was just running things back to back, so I don't think I would have had time to even try to learn how to use these apps because they do, even though they're very intuitive, take a little bit of time to learn and get used to, so gotta factor in that time. Yeah, but I don't know if I would actually have bought it if it wasn't for quarantine, let's get into some of the pros and cons about this iPad. So one pro I will swear by is how light this thing is. Like, I don't want this to get out of focus, but like, look at how thin. This is the iPad Air 4, so it's the newest model, a little bit newer than the iPad Pros, but they kind of work the same way. A little bit smaller screen, but look how thin, look how light. Oh, I forgot to mention that I actually, now that I'm looking at the camera, I'm not using this to take pictures. So that's one of the big reasons I went with the iPad Air instead of the iPad Pro, because the iPad Pro, both of them, the different screen sizes, they have like the 3 cameras in the back, and who's like, I'm not, maybe one day, maybe I'll be that person to be like taking pictures like this, you know? Like that. Like, who's taking, I have an iPhone. Like I said earlier, this thing is so beginner friendly. I'm not saying everyone's gonna get it straight off the bat, how to use the apps, how to get used to all the technology, but compared to softwares that I've used on a PC that costed money, and I knew I wasn't going to be making like extravagant travel vlogs or YouTube videos that required this amount of editing, or even pictures that required that amount of editing. I knew that this was going to be a better choice for me rather than like buying a whole computer or a, you know, bigger type of tablet to handle all of that. So this is very beginner friendly. Another main thing that I've noticed with this iPad is that it's very accessory friendly. Let me explain. Because this is a newer model of iPad/tablet, this can handle a lot of cool features with the accessories. For example, what is it called? The Magic Keyboard, which I don't have. It can magnetically clip to the back of that and it would stay up. Beautiful. I don't have it. It's like an extra $300. Not for me. I know that this and the Pros, the iPad Pros, you can use a mouse with it now. So you can use a trackpad or a mouse, which is cool. So basically, it's like a computer now. And it can handle a lot of different things like spreadsheets, Google Docs, Word docs, and stuff like that. So it's basically a mini computer that's super lightweight and amazing. Yeah. And here we go, the cons. The one con. This thing is so expensive. Like, granted, this iPad Air is probably less, it's probably definitely less than the Pros, but man, for all the things I've spent on it, first you get the iPad. Do you want a warranty on it? That's another, what, $80, $60? I don't know. Then you want the iPad Pencil, because it's easier to use with Procreate or with other apps. So all of a sudden, another $130 down the drain. You want a case so you don't break your iPad? Well, this is $10, but still, nonetheless, $10 extra. Do you want a screen protector? Do you want one that's matte so it's easier to draw on? Or do you want one that's glass? That's another like $5 to $15. Do you want to get Procreate? Another $10. And do you want a keyboard? Do you want another keyboard case? That's another, like I said, $200 to $300 for like that Magic Keyboard. I did not pay that much. I paid $40 for mine from Amazon. But you get the gist. It's a lot of money for this iPad and its accessories to use it to its full capability. Do I regret it? No, don't regret it at all. But that's definitely something to keep in mind when you're buying something like this. It's expensive, you know. So let's get into the tour. I had to redo my whole setup, but hopefully it doesn't look that different. My eyelashes are hurting. I gotta clean them. So starting off with this case, as I've been showing you since the beginning, this case was like $10 on Amazon. I'll link it below, hopefully. And I got all of these stickers from a bunch of different places. I believe
this one, pretty much everything
was from Redbubble, and this guy and this guy were from a small shop here. I really like them because I do have plants that kind of match. Another thing I didn't show in the previous video is this little guy that I got to cover the camera. But since this case is pretty cheap, when you put it flat on the ground or flat on the table, it kinda, I think the camera touches it a little bit. Even though I don't use the camera that much, I was like, okay, I gotta protect it. I bought these little screen protectors. I think they're for iPhone 8 or something, where it's just a little screen protector that goes over the camera. I don't feel as bad when I put my iPad on the surface. I know it's not gonna get scuffed, and it was like $8 on Amazon for a bunch of them. It doesn't necessarily go all the way around, but it kind of does the job. It helps with the scuffing. This little devil, this Apple Pencil 2, Generation 2. yeah, it's worth it. If you're gonna use Procreate, if you're gonna draw, even with for leisure, and you do have the money, I say spring for it. It's very nice that I could just clip it like this. I never lose it because it's on the side of my iPad. I could just put it like that. The only thing is that my cases that I bought with it are kind of useless. It doesn't charge with the case of my iPad and the case of the Apple Pencil, so it's kind of just bare. She's naked. Look at all those fingerprints. But that's fine. It's all good. It kind of makes it feel like a writing tablet or a drawing tablet. You know, the ones that come without a screen. It kind of feels like that. So, kind of fun, kind of fresh. Let's start screen recording. We'll add driver's license playing. I've been listening to that nonstop. So I basically made this screensaver Harry Styles reference, if you know what I mean. I used the touch to unlock, and here is the inside of my iPad. I didn't really change much from the beginning. Let me turn it this way. So you can see another screensaver that I put on in the back. I made both of them from Procreate using the Apple Pencil as well. I just kept the icons that I made in the beginning at the bottom here. So this isn't really like super crisp or clean. I know a lot of people usually make their iPad super aesthetic and beautiful and whatever, but I don't really care as much. So I do want to point out that these icons at the bottom, if you open them, if you notice it opened up to the Shortcuts app, then it went to Google. See, that doesn't really bother me as much, especially because I'm not like doing any work on this iPad. But if I wanted to do a split screen, so for example, let's try it again. So I'm gonna move Chrome down there. I could open this, click and drag. So I'll have two split screens here. LOL also at my Bachelor content and BTS content, High School Musical, what's new? Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles, what's new? But if I wanted to, I believe, put one to the side like that, I could. If I had the Shortcuts app open, if I wanted to do the same split screen, it shows the Shortcuts page, if that makes any sense. Because it's a shortcut to the Shortcuts app that goes to Google, you know what I mean? That's the only thing about this taskbar that I don't like necessarily, but it's never been a problem because I never needed to do anything super pressing with split screen, so whatever. Another thing to note, this is just one of my drawings that I use with Procreate. I also use it to make, you know, the title cards and little screen cards for my YouTube videos. A lot of people warned me in videos and in my comments that my Apple Pencil tip would wear out after months of use. It's been a month and a half and I used it to draw a few things. I wasn't using it heavily, like drawing every day, but I have not noticed so much wear and tear. Maybe a little bit, but I don't see anything near where people are saying like the nub gets all the way roasted down to like the middle part. But personally, not too big of a deal for me. And plus I saw like refills of 6 for $19, $20 on Amazon. So if it did get down to that, I wouldn't be upset about buying more. This is an investment for my happiness. But yeah, so not much has changed since the last time I showed this when I got my iPad. I'm still learning how to use a lot of the things, but that's just a few of the updates, a few of the things that I liked about it, didn't like about it, if you're considering about getting one, but there it is. Overall, I think this was an amazing purchase. I use this every day for FaceTime, for watching videos and stuff, so I love it. The biggest con about it is that price point for all the accessories and for the iPad itself, but like, yeah, it was a good investment. So I hope you liked that little synopsis of an update. Hopefully it's been a whirlwind for me, not just because, oh yay, hey, moved into a new place, but the current events in the world. It's hard to not focus on things like that, especially in the United States. So I hope y'all are staying safe, staying healthy. That's all we can wish for right now. I will see you guys next time in another video. Bye!